I'm not sitting on that. I'll look back.
I'll put it.
No.
Just to show you what they were.
Yeah.
So we're not live streaming?
I only printed one copy.
Well, great. Great. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I was really looking forward
When
to
I
a
get ready
live
to
stream.
post it, I'll cut out the big swear and Doug, I swear to God.
I'm not trying to swear or say anything. I just publicly speaking isn't my best fucking thing.
Exactly.
Amen.
Sorry.
Join the club.
That's your seat, babe. No.
I'm getting this
You
one
did-
to addition on the building or something.
No, I think
would
in order to
probably
make it a
go
little
to-
bit easier for, if we implement that camera system, we'll just move our meetings up to
Why not?
more invitational for people to be more room. It'll be less cost than
I
that.
am optimistic that that will pass.
I think it will.
It's supposed to be flip a switch and you're on.
I'm voting for it.
Yeah,
Ben,
I
is there a
am too.
written agenda for tonight?
Yep.
Sure.
No, you're good, you're good.
You guys want one?
I'm just praying right now.
I can't read Courtney, you should know that.
See it?
No, I can't.
Your wife can read, we know.
So we got copies of this whole package for this discussion, handing around and how we.
I do not.
You don't need copies of the big stuff. I got pictures of that in my email when the application came in. The building permits, I brought those down.
Yep.
Those are in there. Everything that
you
came
putting
in
the meeting
town hall I
minutes?
brought down, so.
I have 3 copies of
This is
the
what you
unit
put
now, yeah. As soon as this is done, I'll sit down and we can start.
The meeting already started. I ask one question real quick. How does this work? Can you ask questions?
Boy, that's a really broad question.
Can we ask questions as we go? Or
That's your man right there.
Yeah,
who the man is?
I added a section
Mike,
for
he's the
public
chair.
comment. It's really rare that people come down here, and I appreciate you coming down, so I added it, and we can do it right in the beginning. I think once we start rolling with business, I'd rather not, but it really depends. If you need explanation on something we're talking about or going over, that's fine, but
Yes.
at that point, like opinion is, you're
That-
welcome
that-
to give it at the beginning. That's fine.
I can honestly tell you, the only reason why I'm here is I'd like to have a little clarification on the way things are going, just for my,
Yeah.
just for
Oh, yep.
purpose, because I know how it works. I'm not fighting anybody, I'm just asking questions.
Yes, that's great.
What, you haven't followed every crazy detail of this for the last...
Guy, I don't have it in my hand.
Ah.
I
Doug,
don't
also
get...
keep in mind, we're just water and sewer, so there are parts of that don't matter to us. You
I
know,
am,
that
I am
are already done
asking
before us,
about
so.
Poop and drinking.
Yeah.
That's it, I promise. That's it, that's it.
Don't worry, he will ask another one, so just be prepared.
Yeah, I know he's full of shit.
Yeah, it was, something's coming out today. I love you.
I'll see you at home.
Alright, I'll start at 6:01 p.m. The what? Yeah, I do. I figured, well, how we're doing the other things. I guess I welcome you guys here, and if you do have a public comment, I'd be happy to take it now before we get rolling. And if you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you can.
Public comments open.
Yeah, yeah, so,
Question.
sure.
So, we're gonna run water, how's it gonna run up to those houses?
We got
At the end of Memorial
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Is it just hitting the 2 at the end of Memorial Drive, and the other 3 are gonna be taken off of South Main?
For connections, no, we have a drawing right here.
So that's why I was trying to listen
Is
before
that-
I asked.
There's a
all
six
coming in.
inch main that's on Memorial, we're coming off of that and extending into the site, just like we had all
Yeah.
talked about.
I had already seen it at the planning board, I think you did as well, but,
actually kind of I went and traced it today. It kind of jogs over like this to the hydrant, and it looks like it dead ends at the hydrant.
Okay, yeah.
So they're gonna attach to it and run it up, and then extend out back here, and then this is gonna be a blow off here, and then there's gonna be 4 taps. Or 3 taps. So they're gonna tap here and feed these houses. So it's actually gonna run out behind the houses.
So how much is the town gonna be responsible for?
I'm gonna ask for clarification on that, like, cost-wise?
No,
Or,
like,
okay.
when, how does it work? Do you turn it over to the town? Because like in my driveway, I have, from the stop to my house, I'm responsible for.
Same for these.
So the stop's where?
Curb stops.
They're back here, just like you guys.
So all these curb stops are back
Back
here.
here.
They're all centrally located in one area?
Yeah,
On,
Final 3.
on those 3 that
Yes, on the 3 on
Yeah.
South Main Street.
and then they're up here.
Yeah, those are just gonna be off the driveways.
And this was the
Is
layout
that what
that
you
we
call it?
had talked about, where because you guys didn't want all the stops down here and have us run all those
Yeah,
smaller
spaghetti lines,
lines. Yeah. And so ultimately, the town will have an easement, and it's addressed in note form that it just, will be centered on the utility. And so you guys will be able to come back into here at any time,
And our easement is 10 feet either side of the pipe, right?
either utility. Yeah.
Right, so-
480 feet from their house.
Yeah, it's about right.
So see, the shut-offs will be like 480 feet from your house for these 3 buildings.
Oh, I could care less where it is.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. You asked about the shut-offs, so.
Yeah, and
Just trying to give you
Now-
a reference point.
is it gonna be one shut off per house, or is it one shut off for
Our
each
ordinance
side?
requires that.
Is it for each side? So just say
Each
you own
side.
one half of that and I own
No.
the other half.
No.
And you don't pay your bill. How do you
No.
turn your water off and not mine?
That would be the landowner's
It's
problem.
per building.
Per building
Yeah.
issue. And that's
We
no
don't-
different
we
than
don't
any.
require that. And it's actually, we had that, it's pretty common in the rest of town where you have one shut off for the entire building and separate meters for each of the apartments. That's a pretty common scenario. And the way it works is billing goes out if somebody's delinquent in that building and they're gonna get shut off, the landlord gets notified about it before the shut off happens. So the landlord has the opportunity to step in and pay for the entire building or whatever's going on or correct the issue before it gets shut off for the neighbor.
So do these shut offs in the buildings themselves, are they in a
The shut off would be, so what the water department
Secure
would be doing
place,
would be
so-
shutting it off at the curb stop.
oh they would.
Yep, that's where they would shut it off. So they'd shut off the entire building at the curb stop.
So and I'm not picking on you, but you're right here. So if he was on one half and I was on the other half and I decided not to pay or whatever,
Yep,
or he and I got in a fight over, just say the trash,
yep.
could he go downstairs in his basement and turn me off?
I
I know, I don't know how it works, because I lived in a duplex and,
And that's actually
It sucks.
outside of the purview of the
Oh.
of the water sewer commission. So,
sorry.
but I do get what you're asking, and the way the billing works though.
We have had it.
The way the billing works for buildings, and it's actually in law, it's actually true for the whole entire, like park, for instance, every home in there, if they don't pay, the landowner has to pay. It's the same as true for apartment buildings. So it's the responsibility, we bill the tenants as a part of our process, and it makes it easier for landowners to be able to do that, instead of building the landowner and then having them have to bill their tenants directly, so we do that, but it's the responsibility of the landowner to pay. no
If
matter
you go
what.
down Russell Avenue, most of the two families have 2 meters. And the tenants pay or not pay, and they can shut them off
Is that you guys'
individually.
intent to meter each unit, or are you gonna just meter one each building?
We were planning on metering each building.
Just
because-
1 meter per
Yeah,
building, so
because that's
so
the way
you as the
we've done it.
rent, the landlord, you
We
would
just
pay-
build it into the
you're-
rent.
Okay.
So and that's the way it is at
And
1
that's-
South Main Street for us. We have
Right.
1 meter for the entire building,
Right.
and we pay the entire water bill. So that kind of makes what we discussed a little bit moot. I didn't realize you guys were doing that.
I've had issues before where somebody doesn't pay, it's actually no issues with water, but with heat.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, a unit's not being heated. And so
Yeah.
we set it up
Pipes
this way so
Right.
that we know when it's kind of the first sign something's going wrong.
Yep.
And then we protect our investment.
Yep. The first property we owned was, it had 3 meters in it and 1 shut off. And the first time we had that, it was like, yeah, I can see how this would be a problem, so I see why you guys are doing that, so.
So why are we not going off of South Main Street for those 3 houses?
The water main stops on the end of Long Meadow Drive, so the water main goes all the way up Long Meadow and loops back around.
Long Meadow's up there.
Right, well, it comes in up here and it loops around like this.
Right.
This is the deadhead
There's no water
But
on
wouldn't that
South
be
Main.
quicker to go from the deadhead up?
to here.
No,
No.
to those.
To come through here, you'd have to get,
Scotch.
yeah, to come
The
through.
wetlands crossing.
No,
You would have
no.
wetlands crossing.
You got a hydrant and water here, why wouldn't you just cross the road and come up to those 3 houses and get
Ledge
these 2
would
off
be,
of
the
there?
first thing would be ledge.
Yeah,
First thing, and then it wouldn't, it's not.
And we reviewed this layout early with this commission and decided this was the best way to provide service and most efficient way to provide service to this property. And so that's why we reviewed that early, was because, you know, we thought this would be the most, first of all, you run kind of sewer and water in the same area, so you're 10 feet apart separation to meet code, but you're running those trench lines and utilities in that same general location.
That's a much easier for us,
Much
much
less
easier
Right.
easement for us to manage as well too, for the water sewer department. She's got a question.
Do I have to say name or?
I mean,
I don't know.
I got you just
Okay. My question is, in the event that these duplexes are sold, could they possibly be sold separately? So how does that work if there's only
Then you'd be
one?
condominiumizing it, he'd have to go in and do a whole other legal process of turning it into
Thank
That's
you.
really, that's none of our business.
No, I'm just
Beyond what we're- beyond what we're-
wondering if it's gonna have to like be torn all up over again, like, and then changes made. If that were to happen, I guess that's what my question is, like, are we gonna be dealing with this for unseeable future of,
Are these side by sides?
It's up and down.
Oh, they're up and down.
It's like the one you built on Mill Street, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't look at the
And so this is a design that we like, because it allows basically 1 floor living, for tenants. And, it's worked, for us in the past. And I guess to answer Justine's question, we would not have to go, if we did decide to go that way, we would have to go back to the planning board to, condo the property. We don't have plans of doing that, but, at the same time, nothing would have to be redone. Our goal is to do the work once and as efficiently as possible.
then the second question is, on that easement, if there were a problem with, say, sewer pipe failing, water pipe failing, who's responsible for that? Is it the town or is it the landowner?
It's the same as the water and sewer pipe that's like in front of your house, like that goes right down the street. That's the town's responsibility. So if something happens in that, past the edge of your property, we're responsible for taking care of that, so.
on the water side.
What's that?
Only on the water side. The sewer mains are owned to the main, from the dwelling to the main.
Oh, yeah, I said property line, I'm sorry, yeah, I was wondering what you're talking about, like, yeah, you guys are not fixing our mains, I promise. Yeah, no, thank you for the correction, but yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
So,
so,
Doug is not understanding, so
That's
you
what-
as a landowner are responsible from the main to the dwelling, right? On the sewer side, on the water side, you are responsible from the curb stop to the dwelling.
So you're telling me from my house to where it goes into the pipe, I own on the sewer side?
Yep.
You don't own it, you're responsible.
I own it if it breaks. So, and on the water side, I own from my house to your stop.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not unique to this town. It's,
No.
I just want to clarify, that's not
So
unique to this.
the whole thing from those apartment things down to the main.
so
Where's the main?
where the,
The
in
main's
the
right
middle
here.
of the,
is it called, what is that thing, the deadhead, what is that thing at the end that was just?
The blow off?
the hammerhead, you mean the
Yeah,
driveway?
hammerhead,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So basically, from the hammerhead up into the woods is the landowner? because they're gonna hook it.
450 feet from my house is what the town owns, and they own the rest.
Hold
So
on,
did
yeah,
you-
I'll back up. When he installs the main, we will then take responsibility for it after that. So the same rules will apply to him.
Where will the main be again?
So
I'm
the-
sorry.
It's right here.
The water main will run from the hydrant up to the blow off, which is here. And then the sewer will run from the existing manhole. We have 2 manholes on this property, and it'll run to the end of that, to that last manhole.
So is that all gonna be paved if there's manholes?
It'll be
No,
an
it's
easement
actually-
and it'll be a gravel access up into here.
It's actually very common to have manholes, I mean,
We have several.
yeah.
Many
Honestly,
in
as
the
part of
woods.
as part of the easement, we'll maintain to keep trees from growing on that area and things like that. But don't forget that the developer is paying for all of that. So, and not only that, they're paying connection fees and doing all of that. So this is additions to our system that are giving us revenue in perpetuity, gives us connection fee revenue, and they're taking care of the lion's share of this project. So
So you just.
it's an investment in the town. And
Another question.
Yep.
How do we have these, and I'm not starting, I don't understand, so
Sure.
I'm trying to understand.
I don't know if I can answer it for you, but I talk a lot, so.
How do we have these connections when we didn't have them months ago?
That's a great question. We've had plenty of connections.
And I
months
thought
ago.
they were promised to somebody else, so that's why I'm confused on how we have them all of a sudden.
To clarify that, we've had available space for quite some time. I don't know where we started. but
39 is where we started.
39 units. We've had
9
available.
bedrooms, that's how we track the available spaces in bedrooms.
Those have been available since I've been here, and I've been here for 2 years. They're available on a first come, first served basis. And like we're doing here tonight, an application needs to be made, and we will either accept it as complete or conditionally or that sort of thing, and then those will be taken off. There's been other projects that have taken bedrooms. I think we're down at 31.
Okay, thank you.
And this project is 25 bedrooms, right? 5 bedrooms each unit, 5 units, or 5 buildings, I mean.
So there's 6 left, is what you're saying?
There will be 6 after.
6 left after, I mean, if this,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
okay.
And I believe, did you guys approve another building permit for something on Prospect?
Yeah,
And that will take some,
I haven't seen anything on that yet.
I would assume they're in the side of the system, so if they had a bit of.
oh, they're definitely on the system.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what, just totally off topic for what?
And actually, that's where there's an example of you guys have an easement down the side of that lot between the railroad and that, and there's a manhole out there in the middle of the woods.
Yes, in the woods,
Yeah.
right, like it's pretty common to see that, but.
Yeah, I think Marlboro has a class 6 road that goes between 101 and another road that is fully manholed all the way down.
So the bedrooms on that one, this is not even for tonight's topic, but the one that you guys approved.
Well, no,
you know, but
it's at least 3, it may
I
be
saw how many
4.
kids were there.
Well, I don't think they all
The
have
whole
separate
family was
bedrooms
there,
now.
but-
They're living in a 1-bedroom apartment
wow.
over their father's garage. The father was the guy
Yeah.
pushing the paperwork along. He thinks it's a really good idea.
We understand why now. As long as they don't need more than 6, by the sounds, there's enough for both projects. Anyway, okay.
I think it's
That's your
a
first.
3, but it should be it's big enough to be a 4.
We'll circle back to that.
Any other questions?
I do have a question, actually, in that venue. So, where we tore the house down, Paul Johnson's house on Monadnock Street,
He's within the bedroom count we have.
that's, so whatever that, was it 3 or 4 or whatever it was?
He's part of the bedroom count. It's like very similar to what's going on in the trailer park. We're in the original count.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
And the way that works, Dick, is if they're gone if the lot's empty for, did we say 10 years?
it's 10
Yeah,
years.
Then
so
you-
it's 10 years
then you-
before they lose their
you pull it
connection.
back.
Same with the building that burnt on. Is it Granite or Nelson?
Granite Street,
So that was
that one's
that
getting
one's
close.
actually within the bedroom count too. Still,
even though it's 3.
and it's pushing. It's on like near
No, it's been
9.
5 years.
9.
Yeah, it's been longer than you think, Dick.
Yeah.
It's nine.
It's been a
Yeah,
while.
he's creeping up on,
Yeah,
he's creeping up on the 10-year mark.
And when that comes off, those bedrooms will go
Go
back into the
pool.
yeah, back into the pool. Yeah.
and how did you just, I ask out of curiosity,
I know the question, but go ahead.
yeah, how did you determine how many bedrooms were in that?
Tax card.
Oh, in the pool?
Well, no, in Billy Payu's building, the brick.
Tax
Oh
card.
yeah, yeah. Those
You
are
just
all-
go by whatever it said it was on the.
By the appraisal, so it was done by the appraisal of the towns,
GSA.
whatever the town assessed the building with, how many bedrooms were in each dwelling. There was, that was gone through.
Okay.
Every bedroom was counted, and then they did the math. The engineers
Yeah,
did the
sure.
math on the bedrooms versus what we're good for, and that's how that calculation came.
Okay, I'm just,
I thought you were going to ask the 10-year thing, because the 10-year thing is based on if you were to pay the minimum water charge
right,
for 10 years, it would be equivalent to the a hookup connection. So
Right.
after 10 years, you're due for
Then you
a new
start
connection.
over again.
Yeah,
Sure, that
you're
makes
due to
sense.
pay the fee for a new connection. That's how we did the math on that. Try to do things scientifically as much as possible.
One last, how close are you to getting more space? I know
So-
that there's been some things that have been happening down here, but
Yeah, not to take up much of you guys'
No,
time.
you're fine.
We completed we moved where we introduced chemicals into the system, so we're doing that earlier, so it has more time in the system to work. We were able to remove, our original goal was to remove like 550,000 gallons of material from the lagoons for more space and sludge and all that. We were able to remove, I think, what was it, 1.3 million gallons of material from there. So we not only cleaned up cell 2A, we did a portion of 2B, and the divers went in to make sure that the baffles between 1A and 1B were clear, and the holes in there were clear as well. We evaluated what sludge depth looked like as well. So once that all settled, and we've obviously been testing the whole time, it takes 60 days for when water
Blowers in
enters.
air, don't forget about
Oh,
the
right, yeah. We
mixers in
replaced
air.
all the diffusers, the membranes that cover the diffusers, and we readjusted using shivs or pulleys to do I think, a more accurate air introduction to the system than as was suggested by the original design of the system. So by doing all that, once we kind of got back, we rebuilt mixers as well. It takes 60 days from the water when it enters the lagoons till it leaves. So as we test, that completed like mid-January. We'll just say it was like early January, mid-January. So we're just starting to get into where we can test for that.
so we don't quite know if the EPA is happy with us yet.
It's looking good, but yeah, we really got to see it happen for a longer period of time. And the biggest thing, and you can correct me too if I'm wrong, but the biggest thing is where we don't meet standards is in months where the water temperature drops below a certain 7 degrees Celsius. It seems like there's some living material in there that does most of the work, and they seem to get really lazy around 7 degrees. So
So it's the nitrogen bacteria. So basically we're converting ammonia to nitrogen. Compared to last year, which was a lot warmer year, this year was very cold, we're actually doing a lot better. We're like 3 weeks to a month delayed. So the values that we were getting at the beginning of February last year, we're just barely starting to see right now, which I talked to DES Friday, gave him my last round of ammonia numbers. He was very pleased. And same with the engineers. I gave him my data and he's like, wow, that's great. So it's looking good. We are creeping up, but it's to be expected because it's been so cold, the temperature's way down. So it's looking good. So basically, the way our permit is with ammonia, we get a winter month value and we get a summer month value. And basically, what they're looking at as far as adding people is your daily loading. So we measure in concentration. So it'll be like 5 milligrams per liter. Well, we also got to factor in how much we took in that day.
So there's a formula, and then they want to know how many pounds per day of ammonia are we taking in. So on our permit, we have a pounds per day limit. So that's what they're really concentrated on when it comes to adding other people. So it is looking good. We're well below our pounds per day limit. So
job, Justin.
what it is in the engineers, they put a graph, I don't have it. It's that transition from the winter months to the summer months where we go from a 13 milligrams per liter or X amount of pounds per day down to a 7 milligrams per liter, and we're just starting to nitrify, so the graph kind of cuts that corner off. So we have like a couple weeks where we're violating. So hoping now that it's hoping it's not going to peak as high and it cuts it off quicker. So that's what we're going for right now. That's what we're trying to get.
And that transition period starts to happen in May, right? Like end of April,
Yep, May.
you start to see the crescendo of these numbers, like they get the worst they can possibly be, and then by mid-May we start to see the turning the corner. Yeah.
Again, that's what the bugs, right? They've gone to sleep, and unfortunately, they don't just come back to life. At 8 degrees Celsius, they're like, well, I'm gonna wait until it warms up even more before we start
We're
working.
not hungry yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's little tricks that I've done in the past to try to get nitrification started quicker. Like some other plants will be nitrifying all year round. So I'll get a hold of Bell and say, hey, go to Keene, get some activated sludge. They have nitrifying bacteria that's living, that's happy. And we go in, we just seed the lagoons. We just dump it right in. So they go in there and it's kind of a little bit of a shock to them. We want the temperature to be coming up because it's like getting a new fish. You don't just take the fish out and throw it in there. You put it in the bag and let it get acclimated to that temperature before you let it free, because you'll shock it.
Is that why Keene heats? Do they heat theirs? Is that?
Nope. They've got an activated sludge, and their detention times are a lot quicker. So it doesn't give it that time to sit there and cool down. So
Yeah, because it comes in at a certain temperature.
Yeah.
Obviously a much higher temperature than the lagoons are.
It's a promising update, thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about. We're trying to be cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, that's
about
why,
it, but-
I'd love to give good news, but I also don't want to have to pull that news back at some point either. But
Yep.
yeah,
Under
everybody
promise,
seems
over
to be
deliver.
excited.
I've got fingers
And is
crossed.
there a spot to see that, Justin? Like when like things start to go up and there's more slots open, like where is that? Am I like missing it on page? Like, so if you, like right now, like we had no idea that there's 39 open, right? Where would I have found that there was 39 hookups open?
Yeah, you would.
Oh, well, rooms, not, I mean, excuse me, rooms, not hookups.
You would have either had to, I guess, ask us. I think there's a running tally with you guys, or at least TJ knows where it was at, because we have to coordinate. They don't, it would be awful if you gave a building permit and we couldn't connect them, that sort of thing, right? So we've been kind of running that tally. It's been obvious. We spent a lot of time down here. We spent a lot of time, our personal time, working on this. So we've all agreed that some public updates, even if we find it to be kind of just mundane information, might be useful for you guys. We're hoping to use our Facebook page a little bit more for that, and then we can probably post something up.
Yeah, 'cause if you saw the mountain of data that Justin goes through.
I know, I've
that the
been reading
engineers
up
have
on the
presented to us.
pages, but I couldn't find it. So
Right, and
that's
like,
why I'm asking if I was
if you
missing
look
it.
like on our main water sewer page and you see the optimization study, for instance, that gives you the starting point for where all of this began, and that lays out that was months in the making and just testing and all of that and presented by our engineers. So that's that's just an example of the mountain of information. When I read that, I struggle to get through it. So it's like we're trying to figure out what we deliver to the public and how we deliver it in a digestible way. It's a little bit difficult. So
Yeah, I'm just curious if there was somewhere to look.
so high level updates like this are pretty common at the meetings, and they're mostly recorded. So you can try to we get into the weeds and get into the technicalities quite a bit. So maybe it's sometimes you're going, what the hell are they talking about? That type of thing. But that's kind of the nature of
The
these
biggest
things here,
unfortunate meeting was TJ had missed one, and the engineers were here with us last month, I believe, and they sat for 2 hours and tried to explain where we were
It's just nice to know.
Yeah,
because
well,
we
that's
know-
why I brought the
mean,
camera tonight, because that night, you know, the select board comes down to record for us, and he just couldn't make it, so we're missing out on that. All the minutes are there,
It
but
was a really crucial.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
and I could see the minutes, and I could see this, I mean, like I could see some stuff, but then it doesn't always update either.
Yeah.
Like, we see different things sometimes on the different things on our page, so that's why I'm asking you if there was a certain place that I was missing, or.
yeah, no, it's the water sewer minutes honestly we probably have some of the most, thank you, Adam. It's my name on the bottom, but Adam writes them. Probably some of the most comprehensive minutes in town for the water sewer department, so. But again, it's a heavy read, you know, so, and you're just going through mountains of this stuff, so.
Right.
But it's all in there, you know, so, if you're really interested in what the water sewer department is doing, grab the minutes, you know, if the video isn't there, which we're trying to make sure that happens every meeting, but, grab the minutes right after the meeting, you know, like right after they're available, or as soon as they're available, that way you kind of keep caught up. Because if you have to read 2 months worth, you're gonna be like, no, I'm not doing it.
No, I'm not trying.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, nobody has time for that,
So
but.
to, so to give you an idea, last year,
Sorry, guys.
the last
We haven't had
data,
an audience in a while.
the last data I have from the lab was from February 26th, 2025. So that's my most recent data. It was a 4.9 milligrams per liter of ammonia. Last year, at the same time, it was a 10.4. And the flows were about the same,
And what's permitted, Justin?
13.2, I believe. Those
So you're under.
Yeah, we're just about to hit where we start.
Is that,
This is
is that
this is
AO?
where it goes bad.
No.
Is that our AO or is that the limit?
that's not
Specific?
limit.
I don't want.
Right when it starts warming up outside
Yeah.
is when the pools just don't
Yeah.
warm up anymore.
So, the flows were about the same, about 45,000 for that day, and it was 5.8 pounds per day. Last year it was a 10.4. Sorry, at the same time, and it was a 5.8. Right now we're at a 4.9, and the math on it came out to 1.8 pounds per day. So it's considerably lower, with temperatures being a lot colder this year than they were last year.
My concern has only been, are we gonna have water in sewer? Am I gonna have to get the Home Depot bucket out?
You'll always have it, it's just a
Yeah.
matter of who we can connect for
Yep.
going forward. And
No,
then-
Justin's been through the Home Depot bucket thing issue with us before. When you had to dig the front yard on Memorial Drive.
Oh,
Brought the
that's
thing
right.
up.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You started waiting and there was no
Burned off the bread, off the bread. And then, like, as far as like when will they allow us to connect more, that's really a DES is gonna have to have final say. We can certainly start asking, but
And we will,
yeah.
for sure,
I
but
think,
we're gonna have to prove to them for a while, I guess.
you know, it took us a little while just for them to allow us new connections in this situation as it was. Again, cautiously optimistic that all sides are pointed the right direction. It's been a long time coming. We can finally gain traction. Anything else?
I think I'm good. I got all my questions answered.
You have anything else?
He's like, what?
Hide from the camera.
I know.
It's got a really good mic, Doug.
No. No.
Alright, so I would say, respect the time of you guys, we can hop right into this, so. So they got the building permits from the town of Troy. And now, we're gonna look over, just, we have several things, right? We have an application for water sewer connection. We're gonna have a state sewer permit.
Yep.
We're just gonna kinda go through what we need on our end and see what's here and what's not.
We got the state permit here.
Discuss what fees will look like and then,
I have a question, Chad. Did you get the corrected building permits from the selectman's office?
I was told they're available,
Okay.
and I think that, I believe,
I think I grabbed a copy right after that
Yeah, I
day,
mean,
so I don't know if
Yeah.
they're.
Well, my issue, it's not an issue. We made a clerical error. She collected the right amount of money, but she issued all 5 buildings on one permit, and it
Right.
should actually be 5 permits.
Yep.
And so I gave them numbers to correctly follow our numbering sequence. But I just wanted to make sure that doesn't screw this up.
I know, I think we got the one that you did that night where
Yep.
you got the numbers written on it.
Yep.
So we probably have, I think that's the one we have, and we'll get copies of the rest of
Yeah,
them. And
okay,
that's
just-
fine. Yeah,
I didn't want you issuing like
yeah,
one.
yeah, it's hard to hang one permit in each building
Right.
while you're building it.
Has everybody seen these? I was emailed a copy of them. Does anybody want
I haven't seen it.
I think that's the building permit.
None of that.
This-
Oh, I was
that's-
emailed a copy of that.
This is our stuff.
So Justin has the application.
So for me, the only thing on the building permit that is probably relevant to us, and it depends on some plan questions I have when we get to the sewer connection permit, but just as long as the bedroom count on the building permit matches the application here, that's really the key component to that.
There's 5 bedrooms with each unit, correct?
5
what I
bedrooms
saw.
each building, yep.
Yeah, each building. 3s and 2s.
Correct.
Where was, did you just hand me the sewer application?
It's the sewer application in the state. Is that the, in the back?
Does everybody, so people haven't seen this yet, correct?
What are we looking at
This
now?
is the actual,
I wish we had copies of all of it.
okay, I'll do that right now, because I have copies. I know Justin had emailed them to me, my mistake for not, I didn't
That's
look to
okay.
see who was mailed it to.
Some of it I've seen, and I got emailed when Justin first received the water sewer side stuff.
Excuse me?
Your grades in there, that's Steve for,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, when I first was looking at it, I
Yeah.
didn't
we
realize.
got
the elevation
here
was
is
really-
good, and then you can see we have elevation here. Yeah.
I didn't think they would have been.
We are building in the same unit on all 5, some of which I talked to you before, that would be like a ranch style in front. And so you'll be looking at, basically, similar to you guys' home, it'll be like a ranch looking building in the front. And then the other unit will be access to the back. And so we're talking about.
So is it gonna be
Yeah,
2 stories high, or is it
um,
gonna be a story and a half in the basement?
it's, from the front, it's 1 story, from the back, it's 2 stories.
So they're all built.
There's a picture, yeah, we
Can I see the picture? No.
I was trying to pull it around the way I was trying to.
I just can't see it.
No, I don't,
I can't see
I
it.
don't have a picture.
No, I got one now.
This is it from the, oh,
Yeah,
you got it?
I got it right here.
Yeah.
We gave him the bigger picture. We can't see very well.
Well, because the ones down here are not like that, correct, Jay? Down by the mill? Because those are actually two-story, it
Well,
doesn't
you're
look like ours.
looking, you're looking at the back
Oh,
of the
okay,
mill because
okay.
you're,
I mean,
because of the
that's-
grade that we were working with.
Okay.
So when you think about it, like, you're looking, when you drive up Mill Street, you're looking at what the back of the unit would be.
Okay.
And so it's kind of
Well,
a
and
bad
that's what I'm like, wait a
representation.
minute, he said
Could you
it wasn't
email
gonna
me
be
that?
like
Because
that.
that's-
I just,
I was like, that's not what he said to me, but I was like, I don't
Just so I
know.
can zoom in.
But if you pull in the driveway on the Mill Street one, like the paved driveway on off of Mill Street, the single driveway,
So
like,
the,
that's the front that you would see from the road.
so the back of the house would be towards South,
the woods.
South
I'm
Street.
getting old, this is.
Because, because if you drive up, you got South Street, for our road.
Yeah,
South
the-
Street's
the
behind
front
you,
of the
South
homes-
Main's
The
this
front of the
way.
homes will face Memorial.
So they're going, they gotta face at us or this way?
Yeah, they got my
The
contact
front
info.
will face, so the one-story side will face Memorial.
Okay. So this part right here will face me, basically, is what you're saying. So it would mean it will face me.
Correct.
Okay. And then that will go
In the back.
in the back, and then the next one will, is it facing this way or this way?
It's the same orientation.
Did you send that over to me, Mike?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I definitely have to zoom in. All right.
Once I log these,
I got my bearings anyway, so where are we at?
I'm just reviewing this to make sure it's complete. If there's any spaces that Chad might need clarification on, but it looks like it's filled out. Just checking some places where things that weren't applicable.
The only thing is just, we just got to notate on the application, the bedrooms, that's all. 'Cause I don't think we updated that on, just written somewhere on here, it doesn't really matter, we just want to make it.
Right, I didn't see on your application where it asked for
There
that.
it is, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so-
And that's kind of a new thing, because like,
Right.
why would you normally care, but it's something that we're kind of stuck with right now, but maybe even if it's just noted right here.
Yeah, we
No
can
big deal.
note it there, but
Yeah.
certainly the building permits definitely address it because they have the buildings associated with it. And then our sewer discharge permit addresses it for sure as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, and I think, so we got them all, another thing, Mike, I think just from a clerical standpoint, so we have them all coming in under one application, so we'll just want to make copies of that and make sure we separate it into 5 property files, because these are 5 separate properties, right? And then just notate on each one, which, have you actually identified all of the map and lot stuff here, is this correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so then we'll just put the right dash whatever on the application up in the upper corner. It's really a clerical thing for us to do, we can take care of that. It's just so when we're looking at the property file later, it's just
Make sure
everything's
it's permitted
separated out.
out, right?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, even if it's a freaking exact duplicate of the other, you know, except for that particular one. So. In my little packet, I don't see the sewer connection permit, the state sewer connection permit.
No, that-
In the
It's in one of
town,
those.
in the town packet, it should be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, there we go, my bad, sorry. Town copy.
themselves. Let's say the application looks complete, we have to specify connection fees. Each.
Now, you guys are planning on putting the water lines coming into the utility room?
That's correct, just like we did before, yeah.
All right, are you gonna sleeve that under the footing?
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It'd make life a little
We
easier.
did last time, yeah.
You did. All right. Makes life a little easier down the road.
So how should we denote what bedroom count is on each dwelling on these applications? Do we have any suggestions on
There's a note section on, you're on the water sewer application.
that? Yeah.
There's a note section, it says see attached, we could probably just put something
You
right
just
there.
ran past this. Right there, it's where you have to reference it.
Seems, I mean, we don't have a spot for it, so it's, yeah.
That would be this, for those plans.
So I'm,
I think you're allowed to get to the residency.
what's the next one?
I just, how to, for billing, for I guess, connection fee purposes, tried to reference this, you brought it to my attention as well, that we don't denote, multifamily is a 3-unit and above, according to our ordinance, right? So, I'm guessing because single family and duplexes are allowed by right.
You were looking at me,
I
not
just
Courtney.
I just want, yeah, like that's how I interpreted it, I was maybe looking, there's no other
No, there's.
reference to a duplex or
No,
two-family.
there's not, no.
So for purposes of the fee, just so you understand what we're toying around with here. So on a multifamily, we charge one price for the connection and then another price for each additional unit. But a multifamily, as defined in RSAs and in our zoning in town, is 3 units or more. So this is technically not a multifamily, being a duplex. So it would just be the initial connection fee, which is $2,500 per side, $2,500 for sewer and $2,500 for water for each building.
So he's looking at $25,000.
Right, $5,000 per building. Yep.
You want me to write that check tonight?
Oh, we can get to that. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page
I mean,
here.
I have the checkbook, I just want
Yep,
to.
yep. Yeah, we might have to do that.
We take cash.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Exactly.
Don't
That's
say
the
that.
treasurer sitting here. No, we don't take cash.
We don't take cash.
We don't want cash. No.
We're gonna have to go to your house.
Not want cash. Or I could just imagine the post tomorrow if we took some cash.
I think other than, yeah, and it's not stipulated here, and that was one of the things we had to discuss, other than that, for the town water and sewer connection permit, it seems to be complete for me on that, right? Other than, payment, which obviously we haven't discussed, so.
Yeah, so the only thing we need to go to after that is, I've reviewed all the plans, so I don't have any questions on the plans. They make sense to me. Courtney, did you?
Yeah, I just had a couple. One, there was this blow off. We don't have no schematic in here that, shows the details that I saw. This is super long.
Yeah.
So I didn't see no drawing on that. Am I missing it, Chad?
I can,
So I'd like to see that just for long-term
What
reference.
was it that, and did it say, was it a 6-inch blow off or a 4-inch?
That's 6. I
Was it a
believe.
6?
I believe it says 6.
Yep.
And then the only other thing I just thought of when we were going through was,
Tracer wire.
yes.
Yeah, they
Tracer
all,
wire
they-
on the blue.
Right.
yeah, they, all water
Yep.
lines have a tracer wire. so,
And then,
yeah.
and then some type of, we'd have to refer to our ordinance of what the distance is for cleanouts on this, so I'd kind of like to get some,
And so generally I mean, so we have a clean out here, and so generally it's 150 feet.
I think it's
Yeah.
150.
Yeah, and so we 127 feet there, and then we have, you know, 200-foot section there, but you can clean that from here and that side, so it's
but I think
normally,
we just need to check our ordinance, because I believe there's something that I don't, that's all.
yeah, I mean, if we need to add it, you know, we certainly can do that.
Well,
This-
the adding location of them, right, like, 'cause we, like,
Well, so you have one, you always have one in the in the building, and then you have one 127 feet away, and then you have a manhole here, and so.
so do you
it's
leave them,
general-
so is it general practice for you guys to leave them above grade is?
Oh, yeah, there'll be, that'll go
Is
to
that
the
what you-
surface, yeah.
And then we'll give you a complete as-built.
Okay, that's your intent.
What I like to do is put a piece of rebar beside
Right.
them, just so I can hit them with the beaver, the
Magnet
wand.
kit or
I
whatever,
don't have
yeah.
to pull ties, I can just,
Yeah.
oh, right there.
And so that's the intent there. Now, these are just straight runs, you know, they're, honestly, they can be cleaned out from either direction, and so that generally is,
Right, I thought our ordinance said something about lineal footage on that, where the, you know,
Which one? What are we talking about?
sewer cleanouts, and it's just something I thought about as we were talking here, so. I just thought there was a lineal footage on that in our ordinance.
The only thing that's mentioned in the ordinance is that we need a manhole every 300 feet.
No, I know, but I'm saying on service side,
yeah, I didn't see
Oh,
anything
I'm-
on the cleanout
it
side.
may be,
But I can tell you, this meets, I mean, it's a little more conservative, I would say. It meets engineering standards. And this, you know, the state will review that too if there's any issues there.
Is that outside of our easement, or is that?
no,
You're
well,
talking about part of our
we
responsibility.
inspect them, right, it has to meet our ordinance with our inspection.
No, I know, but as far as the cleanout's concerned, where you're talking about that being, is that on the private side of the line or the public side of the line?
Yeah, I don't, and I might be
I don't think we
getting
have anything
confused
there.
our ordinance with some other stuff that I've dealt with in the past, I'm not sure. You know what I mean, I know like when, yeah, I got to get into the weeds, but I know when they did all the sewer mains and stuff around like Wilson Pond, and we were doing all the service connections, we had to have cleanouts every so often, and so.
I mean, the engineering standards generally 150 feet is and it's 150 feet if you can clean out from one side to the other, you can go 300.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, like you covered the line. But I didn't see anything in your ordinance that addressed that. We just designed it because we want to build a new.
That was, well, that was like 2 months worth of work too, so,
Yeah.
you know, that's fine. He's gonna inspect it. This is, so that's
Did we end up with a solution on the blow off, on the water side?
I'm happy to add a detail.
Okay, that would be helpful. Yes, yeah, okay. What does the as-built stuff look like when you're done? Like when you're,
Hopefully,
you just
exactly like that.
Yeah. So if this changes a little bit with the some ledge or something, you'll just
Yeah,
update the
I mean,
plan. Is that
we'll-
what you think?
The one thing I would have to clarify, because he'll be able to go for his full-blown grade 1 operator, and he'll be able to go do the rounds. If he goes for his grade 2 and he only gets his grade 2 OIT, he won't be able to do the rounds. Which is kind of,
Right, yeah, what he's saying is if he doesn't,
because he's technically
if he
his
stays operator
OIT.
one, he can do the rounds.
Right, no.
Second, he's an OIT, he can't, so. I think that's, yeah, can we clarify that?
Yeah.
That's right.
Right, that's what, I thought we were at, so.
If you can contact with him, maybe we can ask if he.
We're gonna be in contact with him probably tomorrow anyways, actually.
Who? Dick? I've already got stuff on
Can we-
so.
Would it be appropriate to connect, Dick and Mike together and they can kind of work, I know he's gonna go for reciprocation right away on the water side.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we want to hit the ground running as much as we can.
Yep. Dick was down here the other day and went over some math with Tobin, but he's also got classes. He's classes.
Was that, what was he here for? Was he here for the annual, or was he just here for something else? Dick?
No, he came in to talk about the voting, and then,
Yeah.
but he wanted to go over some math with Tobin, some review questions for his test. But he's also got, he's supposed to be emailing a list of training that DES is putting together, so.
He usually, I was looking back through his last reports, and they're usually right around now.
He had already done that a couple weeks ago.
Oh, he did, okay. Did we get that yet? No,
Nope.
I usually see
No.
that.
Oh, yeah, he did that like a month ago.
That's really,
Yeah. It was when his first round of going over testing was over.
okay.
We mixed it together.
Anything,
He seemed pretty happy, so.
yeah, I spoke. to
The
him.
only thing he had was getting a second operator. And that's been.
Yeah, for clarification, I think some of the things online have been said that we needed 7 operators down here. The number from DES is 4. They'd be happy with 2 to 3. They would be ecstatic with 4. So I don't know where that 7 came from.
How many do you have? One.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
so
one.
that's the real comparison, is that
Well,
everybody
they
might
want
want.
Some numbers were based off of the 7, so but I don't want to get into the weeds on that.
You're going from 1 to any other number.
Basically, they want at least 2
For sewer.
for sewer. Because what they want is, if I were to
Get
kick
sick,
kick the
go
bucket
somewhere.
tomorrow.
Powerball.
Yeah.
They want,
Yeah, you're gonna win something.
when I win Powerball tonight and I don't show up tomorrow,
Bushel and Hopkins.
they want somebody that can step right in.
So we don't have any of the issues like we have previously.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate that Justin has dedicated 24 hours to this for almost a year.
Yeah, going on it. Will be.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Mike, for those that don't know, is a licensed surface water operator for another town.
The contract. Contractor.
Yeah, has some experience in multiple places, so he's been.
What grade is he on water?
He's a grade 3 in Mass and a grade 4 OIT, I think, in Mass. So
What's the equivalent in New
I think
Hampshire on
it's like
that?
a
Grade 2 water?
2. Yeah. Because I think they go up, I don't know.
I think he said 7.
I think they go up to like grade 7 in Mass. But it's surface water, so surface water it's pretty kind of comparable to what we do here, minus the biology part of it. But he's got a master's of biology, so he's pretty familiar with it.
And our fast track program for him on the sewer side is, I know you guys, I was just walking around when you guys were talking about that, but we're leaning on DES to make sure that we get that as quick as possible. All the background that he has, I mean, all that stuff should be credited towards, like, not waiting around 3 years for this guy to get his.
Yeah, that was one of the
Yeah.
reasons for.
Right, that's the clarification we're trying to get, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I believe Dick already has seen his resume. Yeah, he's confident that some time served will be taken off. But yeah, I think Mike fully plans to take testing in June and then be in time.
I know he's eager to get his sewer license
Yeah, it's a big
and
asset.
eager to work in the field. Because right now he's solely at a surface water plant. So he'll be learning quick because we'll be doing Brook Street this spring. So.
Yeah, and he'll come in at a good time, right when you need more.
Can I ask a quick question? So can he work off your license for now?
On the water side, he can.
Okay.
On the sewer, not until he takes his test. He can go with me to do the rounds, but the way the sewer side is, you need a licensed operator to go there to physically check the meters and do anything. Like, because the way they look at it is, if they're not sure and they touch something, it's his fault. So they don't want that. They want, even if I'm a phone call away, they don't want that. They want a licensed operator to do it, even if it's a grade 1 operator.
And his test is June.
Yeah,
So he's coming in April, and his test is in June. So
Yeah, and he should be able to reciprocate the water side. Anything old business I missed? Someone wants to discuss? Alright, new business. I put this on there because I got the email and it just.
Yep.
Yep, so.
I asked Abby for it last week, and I just got it this afternoon. All I needed from her was how much we billed for 2024, how much water in cubic feet. So that does a leak loss rate. So they want accounted for water. So we pumped X amount of water out. We billed for X amount of water, and then I factor in flushing, leaks, and all this other stuff, and then we get a loss rate. So they want it to be. They don't want us to have a 50% loss rate. They want us to be within a certain limit.
Right, basically that's the state looking to make sure that we're conserving water resources across the state.
Not running an ambulance department, you can't lose half your money.
We already went over this with Chad. We don't discuss names or anything, we can talk about this. So we've sent out the first round of those past due invoices. It seemed to go pretty smoothly. I meant to reach out to Abby and see updates. I think we got an update from her like a week or so ago.
I got one on Friday. I got knocked down drastically. It was like 28, but there's a few others that are.
that's a shut-off list, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That I've already spoke to, and they're like, "Go." Every day.
Good.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I know it's something we haven't done in the past, unfortunately. I think that on that first round, what do we collect? Quite a bit of lost
And
revenue.
36.
I do think
36K,
if
I think.
even with 28, especially this time of year, that's quite a chunk of work to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're out there jackhammering frost
Yeah.
and everything else. So I think it would be beneficial if we printed out and did door knockers.
You really don't want to turn those people off.
I really don't, especially not this time.
No,
of
that's
year.
what we discussed last time, and it was, we were really kind of deferring to you. I don't even know if
Well, I know.
you want to hang.
Well,
for
she
knockers,
asked.
that's fine too,
She asked me about it, and I guess you guys went away from it for a while, but
It was a manpower thing, right, and we had an enormous amount. I think you're right in the sense that I get lots of mail during the day, right? Some sees the trash without even me opening it, even if it says important information inside.
You're not supposed to say that. This is collections 101.
I know, but
I lost it in the mail.
you know, I mean, it says it right in there that, our intent is not to shut you off, it's just to inform you. Some of these are cost, these were most of the recent ones. We have more that need to go out, but there are more, I guess, there's more things around them that, there's some from 2016.
Until our billing process is cleaned up and tuned up and running efficiently, I think it's in our best interest to just work with the customers, like you were saying. Not only that, it's a little self-preservation on your part and not having to jackhammer your way down to shut-offs.
28 shut-offs, I'd be looking at
Yeah.
by the time I
2 weeks worth.
shut it off,
Yeah.
turn around, go right back out because they ran down and pay their bill, I'm
Yeah.
looking at like at least 3 days right there.
Yeah, it's
Easy.
we'll
Yeah.
get there, but eventually, hopefully, it gets a little more routine because this has kind of gotten clunky for some reason. And once it's more routine, it's going to be, people will know that if I don't pay my bill, I'm going to get shut off. So
Well, I got the shut-off notice or delinquent notice, which was confusing. Because it listed all of my properties, and then it looked like all the bills were due, but I knew I had paid them. And then there were highlighted ones where the tenants are supposed to pay them. And those I had to go and talk to Ebby about it this morning, so,
Yep.
and I don't understand why all of them were on there.
Wait, so this is
Right.
this is a known glitch, and we are trying to work
Oh,
through the
that's part of the
software.
glitch.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why we sent
Yeah.
these in batches.
Well,
We
but
realized
I would say, one other thing, just from a collections perspective, the different format was a much better format, because it sends it out as a tax collector's lien notice, with a place for a tax collector to sign the second page, or in my case, it was the second page. So, it's less likely to get lost in the junk mail. It looked like a real bill, which had some consequences behind it.
Yeah, so I mean, one thing we realized is there was a few months where past due balances weren't getting carried over, and then we were unsure on how to add that. This all stems from just a software change at the beginning of 2024, and then how we recorded owner versus tenant in second quarter of 2024. So those were the two instances where it didn't carry over, and fooling around with the software and not being afraid to make a mistake and click some buttons, it turned out that it was a unchecked box out of the form fields, and now like these are the little things that'll come through with that, but this is really stems from that software change that
Well, ultimately, it's always the owner's problem. It's nice that you.
I would agree, but I mean, there's some responsibility on both sides to provide accurate, timely billing.
We have like in one instance we had a person that was on they were on estimated billing for an extended period of time. We're talking about 7 or 8 quarters.
Yeah.
And with that, they had and the only reason they were on that is because they didn't have a reader on the house. So they had accumulated. The estimated billing was based on usage they had before, and maybe during that time they just used a little more water, so they accumulated. So by the time they got their bill, and we got the meter on there,
Yeah.
they had paid all the minimums along the way, or whatever, the adjusted amounts along the way, and there was this extra amount, and it was like this, for them, it was a very big number. So for us, it's like, yeah, we'll work with you and have you pay that over however long it takes you, because we were the ones that didn't have the reader on there. So, if you need to pay it over the same 10 quarters that you weren't being, read, then so be it. And Abby's going to be tracking that stuff, so.
Yeah, so I think the next, sometime between now and the next meeting, I'll go through the other list and then kind of identify which would be the next round.
I talked to Abby today, and the letters that were printed off, I had them broken down into 2 groups, and she said, "You grab them or you grab them?" No.
I think I
Yeah,
grabbed
I think you did. That's what I did. She didn't have many more.
Wasn't
Yes, that's them. That's fine. We can go over it later. It's a little detailed and it's customer information, so. Yep. It's technically public information, but you don't want to air everybody's crap out, so. Sorry, you don't. You really, it's just not nice.
Well, they may have run down and paid them.
Yeah, and some of these are just, some of it's an unknown, some of it's a call.
Bad influences
They see
on
they
the
got added
social
after
is
they
just
do.
ridiculous. Trouble.
Okay.
So Dick, do you know anything about the credit card machine?
Oh, yeah, we
I was
gotta,
waiting for that to come up.
yep, we gotta.
I mean, like, we've been promised this.
Well, so we're not using the machine, we're gonna do
Well,
online.
whatever, I mean, the credit card payment process.
So Jeremy's been on it pretty well. I've been following on the back and forth between them. I will say it's on them and not us. Them being the credit card company, they were trying to verify.
Did we skip the reimbursement?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll just go over it. It's pretty
Nice,
good.
Courtney.
Come on
now, minutes are awesome. Yeah.
Fancy.
They said it's live. We need to test it once on our end to make sure it's functioning properly. I think that's their.
Get your credit card, Dick, out. We need to.
So I don't know how we
test drive.
want to do it. I don't know how we want to test it. If someone I can run up and just.
Well, you
do
know
a
what, that's not a
$1
bad idea.
transaction.
I have a bill that's due.
Okay.
Which I didn't know about until I got that fancy bill. So I will pay, I'll pay the bill,
Okay.
see what happens. And then if it's it blows goes up or something.
Well, I just think we gotta verify it's going in across the
Right,
place
yeah,
and
right.
all that.
All
Yeah,
you
but
do
they,
is
I
test it
just
with
got
a
that
penny and
email
then
at the end of
reverse
last week,
Yeah, you're,
I would not do that to Abby.
that's, I'll just pay the
You'd
bill.
be surprised what
That'd
that
be
penny
greatly
can do.
appreciated if
That's so much more.
I'm
paper.
just paying your bill, you're
No,
gonna,
no,
you're gonna
no,
test
no,
drive
if
the
that's-
drive.
If that's all that's holding this up, because I suspect that 80% of the ratepayers in town will be thrilled to be able to pay this with their credit card.
Online.
Online.
Oh,
A bunch of
yeah.
people do that.
I know, yeah, our bill, Lisa's bill would be the same thing, she does a lot of that.
so why wouldn't you, right? Yeah, I got the email on Mars. We just need to test it, so.
It's Thursday.
Yeah, and that was, Jeremy asking, how would we like to test this? So,
Now we know.
He was kind of banging his head against the wall with that whole process.
I got a
wasn't he, for
whole
some reason,
email
like,
chain where he's asked about it,
numerous times.
yeah, and they've just said, well, we need to test this and test that, and this is electronic, it should be, testing it should be quite quick.
This is at least 4 and probably 5 years that we asked to, that it wasn't not particularly water and sewer. We felt, we the select board felt that the taxes and the registrations and the water bills should all be able to be paid in the bottom line. So I'm glad that it's finally here.
Is so we had it for a while, right? And then that went away. And so are we just the water and sewer on now, or is everybody on?
No, we're on, you can see.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you use your checking
Well,
account,
we have
it's $1.75.
massive resistance between the former treasurer and former tax collector. They were opposed. One was opposed to it on moral grounds, and one was opposed to it because what if somebody paid their bill at 11:59 on Friday night, and it didn't get posted to the account until 9 a.m. on Monday, and they wanted to reconcile it was the end of the month.
The Luddite.
and if I remember correctly, because we chose to do it online only, there's no fees attached to it. So there's no money lost for paying or us. I thought the play, the
Console only.
I thought the rate player.
But it's made at $2.50, but
I haven't seen any documents.
even so, people don't care. I mean,
Right.
think about it.
The convenience.
Right, you don't wanna write a check.
The $2.50.
Right, just like using an ATM.
Right.
Okay. All right, back up. Billing room to reimbursement services.
I think I have.
Technically, we owe you money.
No, we owe you money.
Unfortunately.
It's
the other way around.
Okay.
Just wave with all fingers, okay?
I did.
I'll make some, people want their individual copies. Basically what we have here is we have January and February. In January, we have 48.5 hours. I don't know that we want to discuss, dollar amounts, it doesn't matter.
It's fine.
It's someone's salary, yeah. For $824.50 for January. And then for February, we have 55.25 hours, 939.25. And then I know I have a breakdown of time spent. That was the corresponding paperwork.
Are these 2 copies or?
That's 1 month, each month, I
Each
think.
month, okay.
Just for clarification, we had asked to go to monthly billing. We were doing it on a yearly basis, and there was, we never paid you for 23 because it was never requested. So we paid that at the beginning of this year, and then 24 at the same time, and to stop that, we went to monthly billing.
I think that's reasonable.
Yep.
Might want to go to quarterly at some point, but
We had discussed that. For now, we could track it better on our end and see where we can make improvements maybe and free up
Yeah, because Mike and I sat with Eddie for probably a couple hours that day, maybe, something like that. And we identified just a couple of things in our process, and that was just us sitting there working on some of this, and it was like, yeah, there were some things that she's like, I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, don't do that anymore. Like, that's taking time. Like, get that out of there, get that out of there. So we're starting to help her, streamline and hopefully we can pare this down quite a bit.
That shut-off list has been hanging for long before
Yeah.
I think I was here, and to get her through that will certainly alleviate a ton of extra work she's doing by hand, like highlighting.
Right.
That was by hand.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing we noticed on that, was that any multifamily got a similar write-up, and she was redacting anything that wasn't the owner, or that tenant.
Yeah, so we set up some system adjustments that will save her time. We just have just the way she was working with BMSI to begin with, and BMSI has
Well, they've changed, we're doing a changeover on that.
we're done with BMSI, but she used to work with BMSI, and the way BMSI is it was a lot easier to use your deposit report to do part of the billing process. So as your checks came in, and so it's hard to explain, but she alphabetized everything in the mail first, because it was easier to do that with BMSI. And with this program, it doesn't matter. You just there's a query, like you just type the person's first three letters of their name, and boom, and it comes up. And so it's just little things that we're helping her with to try and streamline.
You need a motion for this, Mike.
The goal is to, she go down a couple clicks and we're done.
Yeah.
This is just a bill to pay.
No, she just asked for us to look at it and for me to, I just want to show it. I did that. Something that's not on this list is we did receive an email from
Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of it. Regarding the taxes for the property in Jaffrey. He did abate us for the entire amount for 2024. So the hope is that we don't have to pay that moving forward now, and we can make the ask for anything prior to that, with the assumption that probably
We can talk about that in legal.
Well, I want to talk about before I go, and my understanding is,
We'll just wait. Yeah. We'll jump into legal after that. We just don't want to discuss a legal case.
okay.
So I have the abatement from
Was it 9546?
Jaffrey, 9542 plus applicable interest be granted. Basically, the way it reads is the subject is a waterworks for the town of Troy on 154-acre parcel. The buildings have been exempted, however, the land has been taxed. The town has provided a New Hampshire law from 1915 that outlines the act to establish waterworks in the town of Troy, and section 8, whatever, said town of Troy is hereby exempt from paying any tax on any property owned, used, and held by it exclusively for its waterworks, wherever the same is situated. As a result, it is our opinion that the property above be exempted and an abatement of 9542 plus applicable interest be granted.
So this is on the wells and
Yeah.
things in the water tank.
Yeah, so and the process for this was, we've all talked about this 1915 document. You saw it, we've all talked about it extensively. So, Jeremy took it upon himself to talk to the assessor when they were in there, when she was in there. The assessor said I could fill out that paperwork for you. Jeremy and I and the Water Sewer Department's attorney went over the strategy for this. The assessor provided all the paperwork. Jeremy did a very nice job. I guess that's really what I'm getting at, is kudos to Jeremy. And the assessor put together all the paperwork, and it was we had our attorney review it to make sure that yes, this is what we want to do, and you guys approved it at the budget hearing meeting that you had there, and off it went, and this is what it's resulted in. And I think we can kind of like wave this as the flag going forward. The way it's written, I'm assuming this is just, they shouldn't be taxing us, so this should be the way it is going forward.
That was
We shouldn't have to apply for an abatement every year after this. This is done. So we should be changed on their records as a non-taxable lot, which is excellent. So.
Well, my question was, I think I only know this from being a selectman, but I think there's a limit, there's a statutory limit on how much back you can go. Because we have this problem with current use taxes where the Board of Selectmen may have neglected to collect current use penalties.
Yep.
And you can only go, there's a statutory limit to how far back you can go.
Yep.
And I think, where you guys have your own attorney on this, I think that question needs to be asked.
Absolutely.
If it's all 50 years, yeehaw. I'd make a supplement.
I would, yeah.
I wouldn't count on that
I wouldn't
one,
count on
but-
that, but that would, yeah.
You know, if it's.
That's what you ask for and then see what happens.
Well, I mean, if the statute says 5 years, then I would say you should ask for 5 years.
So the water and sewer department's been having the town pay taxes for the past 50 years?
No, 110 actually.
Oh, wow.
We don't know.
No.
Well, yeah, but I want to
Not true,
run to that.
not true. Let's be clear here. Yep.
The ratepayers.
Yeah, because I don't know what little spin you're gonna put on it when you get on
Well,
Facebook.
yeah, and the fact that we've got multiple letters through multiple attorneys that this wasn't the case.
Yeah, this began in
Me
'77.
including, you know,
Really?
2 years ago.
This
Yeah,
began in
you think so.
'77, and in '78, they argued, the town of Troy argued this fact. There was an attorney opinion from Jaffrey, which
Yeah.
was issued, and so the payment started beginning. Well, this was brought back up again in 2001, I believe,
Yep.
and then there's more documentation in 2000, don't quote me on the dates, but
Yeah.
there was another stint of this, and then we actually brought this up in '23.
Yeah.
When Courtney and I first got here, we had Hoppick review this and
Yeah.
said, nope, you gotta pay it, so that's the progression of this,
Well,
so.
then the other option is perhaps the best thing is to leave Sleeping Dogs live. Just take-
Maybe,
That's kind of
maybe
how I
if you,
feel about it,
not
but I
paying it
wish-
going forward, it very
Take the
likely
win,
could
go
be,
forward,
but,
yeah.
yeah, let's not get too deep into the strategy here.
No, I'm just, that was my question on that. Good news for today.
Yes, excellent news, and kudos to Jeremy for,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and the assessor, that she did a nice job putting this together as an application, so. And I think it goes a long way that the assessor is applying for the abatement, so.
Anything else for new business?
I have it's probably really old business, but I do have a question. So, I was obviously surprised to find out that the selectmen don't have a vote. And Courtney told me, well, we were, apparently, TJ was supposed to bring you something? What is it that you're looking for? Since it's my understanding the selectmen have always had a vote. Not that I'm particularly
I don't care either way either, but I think the fact of the matter is in our ordinances that, you know, like planning board has a representative, but he's actually a member.
Yes,
It
the
appears in the.
ZBA does too.
Right. in multiple
Nope,
ordinances.
the ZBA does not. Absolutely not. They got a representative from the select board. They actually have a representative from the planning board too. They do take votes from those two, but they are absolutely not supposed to do that. Yep. ZBA is a 5-member semi-judiciary board,
Right.
and there's a potential where you have 2 other people there that are representatives from another board. They participate in the conversations, but they absolutely should not be voting. So,
Okay.
not my board, so
It's
I don't, yeah.
not a problem, yeah,
Right,
so,
like
yeah.
I'm not gonna, you know.
All right, well,
Based
try to
on
correct
that, when we
everything,
reviewed
but-
ours, there's no real documentation stating.
Either way.
Right, we, yeah.
okay,
allowed
I'm just
presence,
curious.
so.
To me, it was a surprise, so.
I thought it was because the Water and Sewer Commission was completely separate from quote unquote the town.
The Water Sewer Commission is no different than like the library trustees, for instance. They are responsible for the budget down here and all of that. There is some overlap with the select board, but again, it's like the library trustees, there's no regulation that requires us to have a voting member of the select board here. Same as
Right,
the
that was-
They're
that's
like the
been
best
my
example
understanding.
to
Well, I would
compare us to.
I would be careful with the library trustees because there's pages of.
Oh yeah, I get that.
You can't, of what you, the select board can't.
Right, exactly, and there's no pages of what they can do here, so, yeah.
Well, you guys have your own statute that you operate under.
What's that?
There's your own statute that you operate under. There was something that was enacted in order for this to occur.
Right, yeah, we're a fully elected body, for sure. Yep, and that was done by town meeting. Yep, yeah, so town meeting has given us the authority to operate as we do. Yep, and it was 5 water sewer commissioners and no additional select board members. Yep,
That's
Correct.
how I understand it.
yeah,
1960.
yeah, that's the way it dates all the way back to that.
Next year.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll add, and I'll make it available to the public shortly, was that DES took it upon themselves to write a nice letter of recommendation for the Water and Sewer Commission for the warrant article that they explaining kind of what we do and how it's been working with us. It's been
I like that you think I can read this. Well, no, those are mine.
yeah, so in support, they sent us a letter. I can read it.
Do you want me to take it, do something with it, or?
No.
Oh, it's just letting you read it.
Oh, I get it.
It just, I'll read it. I'm writing to express my opposition to the warrant article 44, transferring all powers and duties of the Water Commission back to the Troy Board of Selectmen. Managing water and sewer requires a high level of specific expertise and an enormous amount of time and effort. The mission of the wastewater treatment system is to protect public health and the environment. NP, no, this was NP, but NP's DES discharge permits have become increasingly stringent as we discover how much protection is really needed. The current Troy Water Sewer Commission has demonstrated that they not only understand this mission, but also possess the skills needed to efficiently do this. Therefore, I'm in support of keeping all powers and duties of managing water and sewer in the Troy Water Sewer Commission. As an NHDES wastewater technician advisor, I have worked with the Troy Water Sewer Commission to see firsthand the help they provide to operational staff and the progress they have made in addressing past deficiencies, most of which predate their tenure on the commission. I am confident in their ability to efficiently solve the challenges Troy is facing and bring water and sewer system into the 21st century. I'm proud to support Troy's water and sewer commissioners, Michael McClure, Cody Davis, Benjamin Drug, Adam Hopkins, and Bill Camino, because I believe their work is vital to not only Troy, but the entire state of New Hampshire. Therefore, I encourage the community to show their support for the work they do, when they know on Article 44, and I can look forward to continuing to help them accomplish the vital mission of protecting public and environmental health.
We'll share that publicly before then, and then additionally at town meeting.
We just shared it publicly now, I'd like a copy.
Yep. You can give that copy if you want.
Well, I think I've always, as soon as, when I first looked at this thing, which is probably 2 or 3 years ago, it occurred to me that the selectmen spent 1 year looking at this thing and said, you know what?
Right.
This is somebody else's
That's a
problem.
lot. That is a lot.
And that's in 1960.
That's before the sewer.
Yeah, I think they had straight pipes to the river.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they did.
Sewer didn't happen until '78. That's when that began.
Well,
'84 was the
The
build.
good sewer.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we had sewer before that, but it's like a Home Depot bucket.
I see you have 12 Russell Avenue on your list for some, place to stop on.
Yeah.
And when Rod Page grew up in that house, and when his father died, he and Harold were cleaning out the basement, and there was a straight pipe from Ripley's up on High Street, down through my yard, and through the basement of that, straight out to the brook. So, we had town sewer.
Yeah.
We just didn't have to bill for it.
Yeah, the lagoons were much bigger than.
They were.
I had one of these Cheez-It bags.
To clarify that though, Dick, that's not, it's 12 need to be replaced on Russell Ave.
Yeah, 12, it's not 12.
Russell Ave and
it's not-
Brook Street, that's for the
oh,
project
oh,
going
oh.
on down there.
Oh, okay.
It's
But
not 12 anymore. It's
Yeah.
7.
Oh, okay.
The 12 was replaced.
Okay, well, that's what I thought it said, but I didn't realize. It was the straight, it was an Orangeburg pipe.
Probably still in there.
No, actually, I can assure you,
Yeah.
I'm the witness of the people who removed it, it's gone. Although High Street runs, still runs through my yard.
here.
operated for?
Basically, been doing a lot of sampling, meeting with Dick, tackling the, repair list. We finally got the meters in after a month or so, quarter. Then, I gave Berg the meter horn and the meter for the one bay garage. Yeah, so that's taken care of. One of the bigger things I've got here is a quote from A&D Instrument. So we've got this light up here for phone line failure. And we've got it narrowed down to inside the box. There's little cartridge things that the mice have gotten into. They're old and they're obsolete, and pretty much everything in that whole alarm system is obsolete.
Pretty
So
sure.
I've got a
If you open up that cabinet right
You
there,
can
it's
try
literally
right
a box this big.
I'm not surprised.
Richard, he can walk through there.
Oh, really?
Is
Yeah,
there?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
he can
huge.
walk through there.
There's
nothing
like
in it.
fluorescent light on top. It's like a
Oh.
closet.
It's hilarious. Yeah, there's nothing.
So they gave me a quote for a Mission Midro 150 unit, which was basically we could get rid of the phone line down there and it would turn it to a cellular. And Mission you could go to easily go to SCADA. So for the 1 year service plan and installation of the unit, $6,594.80. And then we could do away with the phone line, so you said the service plan each year would be about the same as the phone line,
That's our only option.
pretty much.
So the one question I have is we were isolating phone lines that were unused. I know TJ was discussing that with us.
Yeah,
We
that's-
found a bunch of phone lines that weren't used. One of them was down there. That has not, like, we didn't kill a phone line that we were using and that caused that.
Well, we were here the night that came on.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we didn't shut something off.
No, if you remember, we were here when that went off, but Justin and I had to go down to the pump station.
Alright, and we've been trying to figure out something. I mean,
I've had Consolidated there doing tests.
we also discussed that when fiber was put in, right? They were supposed to run fiber down to our wellheads, weren't they?
TJ was supposed to, I
requested that they did.
TJ was supposed to find
Follow up?
the dead lines, or find the lines, all these lines that phone lines.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to do the clarification on the fiber to these
I
buildings.
thought that was part of the agreement, right?
No, wasn't it part of the deal when we were putting the fiber in, there was to be run to all,
All town buildings.
right, so
Yeah.
and TJ was supposed to be spearheading that. That's the way I remember it. How about you, Bill?
I agree with you.
I didn't know, I didn't ask if you agreed, I asked you if you remember.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I know it was supposed to go out of town buildings.
Right, and that was, so, I mean, this allows us.
I was here.
It might have been one of the
23, but-
Anyway, right, like, there would be times where something would be low and we wouldn't know it.
Yep.
Like this has come up multiple times over the years.
I'm familiar with Mission. That's what Marlboro has for SCADA, is Mission, and it's pretty decent.
So, remember, we were having
There's-
problems as well with this current system, wasn't reporting very fast. We can clearly get there in time, but,
Sometimes it was 45 minutes behind or something.
right. Antiquated system.
Yeah, I remember the conversations about phone lines.
There was
But I
the
don't know if I
the
wasn't
only
there.
other
Fiber was-
option would
yeah,
be
that's all I meant to say.
to get a call out in there, but we would have to run a new line because there's no plug-in jack for the phone. It's just a free wire.
When are you anticipating a decision on something, on a move like this?
What's that?
When are you anticipating a decision on something like this?
As soon as I can.
Right, yeah, this would be
So I can-
reporting, like, yeah.
Isn't it this board that has to make the decision?
No, we are, but, yeah, I'm just,
Wondering how soon we need to make that decision.
yeah, I'm just,
But, I mean, I feel like we need to figure this phone thing out first, right? Like, I mean, we've been you know, that's been like that for a month and a half, 2 months, so I mean, I don't think that my opinion is we don't need to make a decision on it tonight. I
Is
think,
it, what was the cost of this, Justin?
$6,594.
I got 65. I'm like, 65 bucks. I'm gonna
That'd be well within his.
yeah, right, that's in his purview,
Yeah, I'd
yeah.
say.
So, I mean, I feel like we need to, I mean, maybe ask Jeremy, right? Like, he would maybe know more about the
The fiber, I
The
don't know if
fiber
we're gonna
thing,
get that, them to do anything quickly, but I can do that real quick, we can do that.
well, I hate to spend 6,500
Absolutely.
and then pay a service fee here when,
Well, 6,500. If the phone line costs you $90 a month, you got it.
no, 6,500 and the $90 a month.
For that. But
Yeah.
what you got is a phone. It's a POTS line, right? Plain old telephone
Yes.
service.
Yeah.
And the worst case scenario, that's gonna cost you $89 a month. So you got 68 months.
I'll just ask Jeremy, again,
The best way to do stuff with EJ, the best way to communicate with Jeremy is with an email.
Yep, yeah, absolutely, he's always put together.
And I would just CC the other three, so like.
Yeah, I mean, it's due for an upgrade regardless, right, like that's the major part of that.
Yep.
It was already, it had quite a delay for being an emergency notification thing. It was already pretty far behind. It's probably
Oh,
time-
absolutely,
yeah,
but
it's time to
I like,
upgrade.
but there, once again, like,
Yeah,
the rep was gonna figure this out so we can figure this out.
The rep from,
Select board.
oh,
you're just a stand-in, don't worry.
well, I don't know that, I'm not sure it's ever made its way to our table, so.
Well,
Yes.
the look of confusion on you tells me it has not.
I'm constantly amazed at the things that you find, you know, we go looking around and find, yeah, we have a phone line here, electric meter there.
yeah, we gotta do an audit on some of that. Anything else?
I have a question on meters. So 19 Central Square, when they were rebuilding the deck a couple of years ago, they knocked the meter thing off.
Yep.
Did that ever get put back on?
No, I just barely got, cause
We were-
I went in there, I thought I got the addresses wrong. I
Oh.
was like, I needed this, there's supposed to be a touchpad here. And then I go and look on my repair list, and it wasn't on there. I do have it on my repair list.
Oh, okay.
I also have to get, it shows on that repair list that you own Helping Hands, the Helping Hands.
No.
So that's what I.
That would be a shock to a great number of people.
Well, that's why I was like.
Me being on the top of that list.
All the way around
Because
it, but
it
not-
says
not
3
yet.
Depot.
Well,
It's gotta be Helping Hands.
no. The numbers, when they did 911, I have a whole list of numbers, not Central Square is another one, but I talked to John about that today. So, on 7 Depot Street
The duplex.
is the duplex, except on all of the town records, it shows it as 3.
And that's the one I need to get.
And there's 2 meters there.
Yes, but one of them's not on.
Well,
Or unless they turned it on.
nobody's bitched about not having water.
Dick, what are you
Because-
getting, I'm sorry, what are you, what's your bill coming to? 3? And is it actually making it to you, or is it?
Bill,
the
well,
PO
Bill
box?
gets sent to, they bundle them all up,
Yeah.
and they just send them to me,
Yeah,
and it's addressed, it's like 3A, 3 and 3A, or 3A and 3B.
and that's what's in our system. But you're getting it to a PO box, so I'm assuming.
Probably
that
get it
the-
to 9 Russell Avenue, but yeah.
Okay, not your system, okay.
'Cause I've hung a door knocker there before. because I knew I was getting an error, but I didn't.
Yeah, they definitely have water. I would
Oh, yeah.
know that.
So, well,
Particularly if it's been more than like 2 hours.
Nobody uses the front door.
so if you're facing the building on the right-hand side,
Yep.
years ago, Ernie was here still. There was a water leak, and they replaced it, a whole new line right into the building.
Yep.
Then it changed hands,
Yep.
and whoever bought it replumbed the whole inside, and they wanted that line shut off, and the other line turned on, which is an old line. It was like, so I was confused. I was like, "What? This is an older line." I didn't even know that line existed. That line was actually off.
I get billed for both of them.
Then I don't know if they turned that one back on, which is a possibility.
Well, all I know, I'm just I know I get 2 bills for it. And I keep going, this was stupid.
Because to get into one half, you go in the bulkhead.
Yes.
And the other side,
You have to go
inside. To
yeah.
get in. And then that one's got a brand new.
There's like a trap door in the
Yep.
bedroom floor.
That one's new. That was done in probably 15, maybe. It was the
Okay.
year we got that.
Well, let's
back.
not work through the whole repair list.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Anyways, so yes,
But
I'll be reaching out to you so I can get into.
Well, so, and on the numbering, like, the water department, on Central Square, you have 19 Central Square and 21 Central Square, and they are in fact separate buildings.
Yep.
But I'm not sure that the locations of the meters correspond to the buildings. It's okay with me, it's all fine, I mean, everybody's got water in their shower tonight,
Yeah.
but, so, and the readers are on the back of the building.
Yep.
That's interesting, 'cause when the switch was made, it should be going by all the tax dollars.
Well, but they're not necessarily, right?
Yeah.
Because they moved, when they did 911,
I
they
remember I was
moved,
there for that.
yeah, they moved some stuff around. Well, I think that they moved everything around, but some stuff got changed and some stuff did not.
Right. And they base their numbers off of mileage.
Mileage from the nearest Wall Street or something. Because I talked to John about that today, and what Gorman's is 25 Central Square. I thought he was 23 because I had 15th the laundromat, 17th the village barn, and the next building's 19, and I assume the next building was 21.
Yep.
And that's the way you bill it.
Yep.
The phone company, by the way, has it all as 19. And then the electric company has it as 19A, 19-1A, 19-3, 19-3B. It's so weird. But Gorman said, no, he's 25. So I assumed, then I said, well, you go down the building, you got 19. There's 3 doors, so 19, 21, and 23. But John said that's not correct either. Anyway, all I want to know is we need a reader on there.
Yep.
Because I would like to not get one of those bills that Ben was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Hard to figure out.
I have accrued $9,000
Yeah,
worth
exactly.
of water bills.
Yeah.
Hard to
Because
pay
I had
for.
gone in. I went in. Geez, before last quarter, and I spoke with Chrissy.
Yeah.
To see if it's like I gotta put a touchpad on this. I better work.
Yeah, yeah.
It's on the repair list. And then I called her, but she's like, yep, okay. She like worked. I'm like, no, this isn't the right one. I need to go to 13.
13?
It's 13.
That's Marty's
Marty Decatur's.
in the
out
back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You probably have to do both.
I do. Yep. We hung a door knocker on that one. So.
That's, just call Marty.
Yep.
The tenants will not respond.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody wants to see on the next agenda?
So you have a new guy coming and he's licensed in Mass?
Yep.
And you're gonna upgrade his license or get him fully licensed?
He already, before he even met with us, he had reached out to, he lives in Jaffrey, so
Oh.
he wants to move up here, he's working
Sure.
in Mass. He has already reached out before meeting with us, like I said, to see how reciprocation will work with water, and that seems to be like a done deal. Like it's just a matter of him applying and getting the certification.
Are you guys regulated by the OPLC? Office of Professional Licensure and
Yeah.
Long story short, you can submit any kind of work experience or education and to DES, and they can determine whether they'll waive
It's
all.
equivalent.
Right, so, we're hoping, because he's worked in the industry for a long time, and,
Educated.
yeah, he's very well educated, that, we will see the shortest time possible
Sure.
on that. Yeah, and as soon as that happens, of course, there'll be some time for him to get to know our system, but we can give Justin a much deserved break.
And then you're still looking to hire a third person?
What we have before Mike Lynch applied is we were looking for an office admin for a temporary, you were here for one.
No,
of
no,
those
I
meetings.
know,
not
but that, no, I'm
full-time,
talking
no.
about an operator.
Yeah, the state wants to
No.
have four.
The state wants 2 full-time for sewer. Their recommendation, I can show you the letter, it's from March of 2024. They recommend that it would, I'll get their exact language, but the requirement, I think in 23, I think they gave us like 3.5 would be suggested. And then in 24, that turned into 4 would be ideal.
We all have ideals.
Right,
Well, there's the little bit of a yeah but in there.
right.
because-
The wording is like, yeah,
Because-
this would be great, but.
Because legally, and when we sat, I think we were sitting down here talking to those guys about a budget issue that
Yeah.
fateful day, and it was, you need, for the sewer treatment plant, you need 2
Two operators.
level 2 operators down here.
And that's what you're getting, and they're cool with that.
Justin is. The next one is gonna come up to that, and we're training the guy that we
Right.
have working for us currently towards that.
So there's your third one.
Yep, but when we get our annual review in 23, it says 2.5 at the time. And the law really hasn't changed. It's really what they would like to see. And then there was some things that were still on the report from 23 and 24 that had been basically deficiencies. They pointed out that they wanted fixed and they hadn't been fixed. Of course, we were in turnover going on down here, so we had that going on. So these deficiencies hadn't been fixed. So on the next report, it's like, yeah, I guess you need more operators because
Right.
you're not fixing
Got
the
it,
deficiencies. So
exactly.
so it bumped up.
And then you
Kind of
get-
arbitrarily, if you ask me. I was.
Well, that's
definitely-
like they're pushing it.
Well,
So-
here's the deal. So I am required as the representative for them is when they can't get a hold of Justin, I'm next in line. So they copy me in on all of this, and I've had to, since we've had a lot of changeover in here, I have to submit a plan on how we intend to have an operator and backup operator. So that's the 2 that are required. You need 1 operator and a backup, and then very much to what Ben had said, that because we were unable to address some deficiencies, they felt that was understaffing a problem, and not a failure to have the funds or.
Right. So then that leads me to my next logical question, or in my mind. As a ratepayer, what's the impact on the rates like? Is this already built into the budget, or is it?
So we had a rate increase in June of this year.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
We're a
our
quarter of a way through the next year.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You mean like 24?
25.
Yeah.
We're a quarter way from 25.
Yeah. Thanks, Dick. But anyway, so we had that done then, and they were, DES was at that meeting, you were there.
Yeah.
DES was at that meeting saying, this needs to be done with this. So that was intended to cover our plans. I mean, those plans have changed
Sure.
a little bit since then. So we do have to make an adjustment, but I think our budget is safe to not make that adjustment until the end of 25. That was our plan and our promise to the public. So I think we can still make that happen. We're probably going to be a little bit over budget this year, but we obviously have savings to work from and things like that. So and we're bringing in our revenue is greater than budget by about 15% or so, somewhere around there. So we should be able to cover our expenses, but again, we're trying to ease our way into what's ultimately going to be, more rate increases. So.
Well, again, as a ratepayer, on the one hand, I would like it to be free.
Yep.
But I
Yeah,
also,
I hear you.
but
practical person, I would also like it to be a functional system that's not a greater liability down the. And so, you know, I guess my counsel to you guys, which is certainly about the 15th time you heard me say it, but there's a lot to be said for a consistent small rate increase.
Right.
Because the problem with, one of the problems that the prior board left you with is
No increases.
no rate increases.
Yeah, it
for,
wasn't
like,
even consistently small or occasionally big. There
Right.
wasn't anything in between. So.
Right, which is
Yeah.
really where you wound up in the financial hole.
Uh-huh.
There is exactly nothing that cost what it did in 1992 left.
I think in 2006 when they were doing the overhaul down here, there was the opportunity to remove sludge from the old pond, which is
Yep.
offline. And at the time, the numbers that I saw in some of the reports and minutes or whatever it was from back then was $20,000.
You can't do that.
Way too much money.
Way
Like,
too much
no,
money.
didn't want to do that back then. That was going to break the bank. Well, now that is shit to do. I mean, we're talking removing sludge. Of course, I think probably
That was at half the price of a new car.
right. And I imagine that the sludge removal now, like the regulations and how you're going to dewater and where you're going to bring in,
yeah.
all of that stuff is probably greatly different since
I'm sure
than
it
it was
is.
from then. But still, you know, you're talking $20,000 to whatever that's going to be, a couple million to do that. So, yeah.
It says in here that the way they word it, Troy has given water responsibilities to you as well on top of the sewer. So it is likely that 4 water wastewater operators are needed.
Likely.
Likely.
Well, if you get to 2, see how happy they are with that.
Well, I can
It
tell.
says
So
three.
this
If
is.
you've got 3 that work really hard, then you don't need the 4.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, so what is the regulation? That's part of it, right? Like, let's not play around. What is the regulation? What's absolutely required of us? And if you believe that we need more help than that, that's fine. And if Emberly shows up and does his annual review of the property and says, "Wow, you guys are kicking ass and taking names. There are no deficiencies, and we only have 2 people down here with a part-timer,"
Right.
suddenly we'll be okay. You know, so it's just a matter of, you know, finding that happy medium there.
My personal experience with the DES has been that a great number of things that you would think are objective are actually subjective. And it's not what is the actual count, it's how do we feel about it.
Yeah, the report from that one year to the next was really, it really changed, not because the law changed, but it changed based on his observations.
Wait, right.
Yeah, so,
It says, I just closed it, but it said that, it appears that deficiencies were not corrected for 2 reasons. Your system is old, and it may possibly be understaffed.
I really agree with both of those.
Stress old, yeah, you stress old.
Think really hard about that one.
one thing's for sure, it's not 7.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's 8:22.
Okay. Anything else before you go into non-public?
I don't believe so.
Oh, I'm gonna leave you guys to your non-public.
Thanks for coming, Dick.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Maybe we'll see you at the next meeting. Maybe you'll get
See-
nominated
you'll
for the
see-
ship plan.
You'll see me at the next meeting.
I don't know about
Yeah, it's a
here.
busy week. It's a busy week.
Don't you guys re-vote on who gets what, when you,
Yes. Well, that's a Dick Thaxton idea. I said when I first became a selectman, we should divide up all these departments, there should be somebody that's a go-to person. And I may, if it involves me doing more work, I may rescind that. All right, I'll see you all later.
Thanks, which non-public do we want to,
We'll pull legal right on.
it should be pretty straightforward, so.
are you gonna shut that off, or?
Yep, well, we're gonna motion first, though.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Roll call. All right, wait, hold on, we're going into legal, so RSA 91A3L.
2L,
That will be 2L.
A3, 2L. Right.
So RSA 91A3 2L.
Yeah.
Courtney,
Aye.
Aye.
Bill, Mike,
did die a little, I don't know when it died during,